You ever watch a football match and then see a footballer and go, ooh, he's pretty good. It might be the way that he moves, it might be the way that he shimmies, might be the way that he kicks the ball. Nevertheless, you've seen it and you think, yeah, I've seen something there. It's the eye test. The eye test never lies. And let me tell you, my friends, the eye test has done it once more. These two are class. And today, we are going to explain why. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe, you like the video, and you turn on those notifications, because it really helps me out. And now, let's get into it. Eberechi Eze and Michael Olise. I want to start with the game that they both featured in recently. 3-2 to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace scoring 3 fantastic goals, 2 from Eze, 1 from Olise, but Olise assisting both of Eze's goals. I suppose in a way he did assist them, but for the second goal it's very much Eze, but we'll get into that a little bit later. As you can see, Crystal Palace really did dominate the momentum in this match for the most part. Yes, Sheffield United came into it a little bit later, and you could argue that it's Sheffield United, but I would argue that the quality that comes out of these players on a regular basis is something that cannot be ignored. If we have a look at the lineups, I think Crystal Palace seriously benefit from the fact that they've dropped Eze a little bit deeper. Even if he plays as a central attacking midfielder, which he did for a lot of this game, it allows them to have a line through the team to bring quality. If they were both in the same line, I think it would be a little bit more difficult to find both of them in the same system. For example, if Eze was out on this left wing, I think the channel to be able to try and get the ball through midfield into one of the forward areas would be a whole lot more difficult rather than just giving it to Eze and asking him to either find Olise or Ayew out on one side. Once you've got it for Olise, it also takes the pressure off of Eze to make sure that he doesn't need to do everything himself. He's very good at driving with the ball, but at times I find him running into cul-de-sacs because he either doesn't have an option with one of his teammates, or he finds himself in situations because of his dribbling capabilities that he just takes on too much than he can handle. If we have a look at the average positions, we can see that, if I just move this up for you just a tad, we can see that Eze and Olise are almost next to each other in this particular system, but Eze drops a little bit deeper at times to really pick up the ball and then drive forwards. He's far further forward than the likes of Will Hughes or Jefferson Lerma, and that means that they have a fundamental and stable basis to be able to allow Eze to go forwards. This allowed obviously Crystal Palace to have more attacks and obviously gave them more impotence to be able to go forward, particularly down their right hand side, utilising the quality of Michael Olise. That's where the first goal comes from, across in from the corner of the box, and Eze gets a fantastic touch. We're going to be going through the goals a little bit later. I just wanted to focus on the link up through the middle of the pitch that allows both Eze and Olise to get the best out of each other. Let's finally have a look at the statistics, because although Sheffield United got 2 goals, I think a couple of people will be wondering why Crystal Palace only had 4 shots on target. They're not clinical enough at the moment. 1.15 XG, but they scored 3 goals, and that just gives you a little bit more of an idea as to how good the goals were from Olise, Eze, how unlikely they were to score, but yet their quality is shining through on multiple occasions. It really is something special, and having both of these players in this side, I think, is a blessing. And take them out of it and it starts to get a little bit scary. But how scary are we talking? Well, as you can see here, these are all the Crystal Palace games that have been played this season, and actually this is Eberechi Eze's playing map. These are how many times he's featured in the squad and how many times he hasn't. And as you can see here, Crystal Palace have not won a game without Eze in the squad. And you talk about players having a difference, having an impact on their team. No player has more of an impact, I think, in trying to get the ball up the pitch, trying to transition from back to front, and also trying to take those real game-changing moments than Eberechi Eze. And if I tell you that together with Olise, Eze and Olise have scored 11 goals combined this season, but Crystal Palace have only scored 25. Take those 11 goals away, and Eberechi Eze and Michael Olise have scored nearly half of Crystal Palace's goals this season. That's pretty scary if you take them out of that team and stop them from performing in the way that we know they can. They've recently come up with clutch goals, recently come up with brilliant performances, and in Eze's point of view, I think he's really gunning for that England spot, especially when the Euros being around the corner. But Crystal Palace not having Eze is really felt, especially in some of those intense matches. Both players are highly sought after by Premier League clubs, especially clubs consisting of the top 6 and above, and it's no surprise why, especially when you compare him to other top class midfielders in the Premier League. I've got him up against Martin Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Enzo Fernandez and Dominic Szoboszlai in this table. We're going to have a look at Michael Olise a little bit later, but in this current state, Olise has played less games than the rest of them, but he's got more goals. I think if you ask any Liverpool fan, or nearly any Liverpool fan, the impact of Dominic Szoboszlai has been monumental, but his stats aren't exactly showcasing that. I don't think we've seen the best of him by a mile, but Eze is still managing to perform even though he's played less games. He's started less matches, and when you compare him to the £65 million man Kai Havertz, he's got more goals than him, he's got the same amount of assists, and obviously more goals and assists than Havertz in total. Compare him to the £100 million man in Enzo Fernandez. 2 goals for Enzo, no assists. It's just a real stark contrast to Eze, who has been a perfect servant for Crystal Palace for quite some time now, and it wouldn't surprise me if he gets moved on a little bit later, whether it's in the summer or even next year. If we have a look at his shooting per 90 as well, 0.39 goals per 90. Again, that's much higher than Dominic Szoboszlai, 0.1, higher than Martin Odegaard's 0.21, higher than Kai Havertz. You get the picture. He is quality at finding the back of the net from midfield, and at the same time he does a brilliant job of linking through the play with his carries, with his ability to drift past people and his passing ability. Eze is phenomenal. But now let's look at Olise. Olise, I'd argue, is a little bit better. Here I've got him up against top wingers in the Premier League, in Bukayo Saka, Luis Diaz, Raheem Sterling, and I threw in Ante there for just a bit of a laugh, really. He's not here as a serious contender, but we know that he cost Manchester United £80+ million. And when we're talking about players in these kind of positions, this is the money that we're talking about. How much is Michael Olise worth? Is it 100 mil? Is it more? Is it less? He's only 22 years old and he's showcasing unbelievable talent. Last season he racked up 11 assists. That puts him 4th against other players. Only Kevin De Bruyne, Martin Odegaard and a couple of others got more assists than him last season. But let's compare him to the likes of Bukayo Saka, Luis Diaz and the like. He's only played 10 matches this season. That's in stark contrast to Bukayo Saka, who's 21, Luis Diaz, Anthony and Raheem Sterling. But when you see that he's already got 6 goals and 3 assists, accumulating to 9 goals and assists in 10 games, that's nearly a guaranteed goal or assist per match that he plays. That is crazy. Bukayo Saka obviously getting 13 goals and assists, but he's played double the amount of games. Now if you double this tally, it dwarfs Bukayo Saka's return. Then you have a look at Luis Diaz. Again, a better performance from Michael Olise. Anthony doesn't bear thinking about, so we just won't mention it. It was just a bit of a laugh. Raheem Sterling, again, he's 28 years old or generally thereabouts, and he's got 8 goals and assists, but he's played 19 games, 9 more matches than Michael Olise. He's played nearly double the amount of game time, and yet Olise has more goal contributions than Sterling himself. It's extremely impressive to see the level that these players are performing at, especially when I tell you that the XG that Olise is working from is 3.2. He's nearly doubling his XG, which is pretty phenomenal. They are truly remarkable players and they are absolutely priceless to Crystal Palace. And finally, before we wrap up, we're going to be having a look at the goal contributions from both of these players in their most recent game against Sheffield United. Remember, they won this game by 3-2. The goal quality is phenomenal. Let's start off with the first one. Olise is going to pick up the ball here out on this right hand side from Richards. It's going to be played over, and I want to focus on the fact that they have 1, 2, third man coming over to come and can mark Olise. He recognises that and uses very little backlift to be able to take the ball up, loft it over the top towards the middle of the penalty area. And here I want to mention one thing. It's quite blurry, so it's quite difficult to see, but bear with me. One player is moving in the correct direction. The rest of the players in the box are either not paying attention, they're not ready, they're not looking towards what's going to happen, but one player is alert, he's on his bike, he's ready to move, and that is Eberechi Eze. He's going to be running towards the area, and what he does next is just phenomenal. What is this? What is that? Stop it. Stop it. It's just unreal. Just fantastic quality, fantastic skill. He's happy with it, clearly. A brilliant piece of just sheer footballing quality. Look at that. That is absolutely phenomenal. I think it touches probably the tip of his boot and manages to sway the keeper to go completely the opposite direction and put it in the net. One of the best goals I've seen so far this season. Just phenomenal. Let's now focus on the second goal. Again, Olise picking up the ball out on this right hand side. We mentioned how easy it is for Crystal Palace to get through the pitch with Eze being able to find Olise out on this right hand side, because they know he has the quality. They know that they can rest assured that he is going to keep the ball safe, make something happen, or at the very least commit a couple of players. They have 1, 2, 3 players defending up against Michael Olise. He needs help. He doesn't see anyone. Mateta isn't doing anything here. We've got a lot of space out here, and which means that somebody needs to help him. Here we have Eze. He recognises this, and what he's going to do is spin out into this space to give Olise an option, and that's exactly what happens. He passes the ball over extremely quickly to give Eze as much time as possible. Both players on the same wavelength. Brilliant to see. Eze has so much time to just be able to pick the ball up, spin, do a little fake shot, and then take his chance. It's brilliantly worked, brilliantly taken, and he rifles it straight into the net with his left foot. Remember, he's right-footed. He uses his right foot, people. He's not left-footed. It's a fantastic shot, and again, brilliant. He even has the actual thought to tell his teammates to go and get the ball and go again, because at this current moment it's 2-2. They want that winner, and they get that winner in the form of Michael Olise. Just one more shot of that beautiful goal. They get that in the form of Michael Olise. Now, the ball is picked up by Eze, like I said, linking up with Olise. He's that main central point in every part of Crystal Palace's attack. Take him out and they find it so much more difficult to work the ball up the pitch. He's been given the ball here. Again, much like Olise, credit to Sheffield United. They recognise where the problems were. They just weren't able to stop them. It's not their fault. They recognise where the danger men were. They're converging on Eze currently. He's on 2 goals at the moment. Olise has 2 assists, but in this particular moment, it's Olise's. So Eze's going to pick the ball up. He's going to take a half turn and then swivel round to the likes of Olise out on this right hand side. Olise drives forward, plays the ball into Mateta. Mateta tries to cross it, but it gets a bit of a deflection, and then it comes out to Olise on the edge of the box. He has one singular moment, takes his shot, swings it into the bottom left hand corner. What I'm showcasing and highlighting to you guys is the quality, the confidence, and the ability that these two players have. Remember, Olise is 22 years old, Eze is 25 years old, and both players are absolutely crucial to the way that Crystal Palace play. He swipes it, smashes it home, and they end up winning the game. A fantastic performance. But my question to you is, what do you think about these two players, and where do you expect them to be ending up next season? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because if it was me, they'd be probably moving somewhere else for a big, big fee. I'm talking hundreds of millions, I would have thought. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.